Hello, this is the 15-minute podcast for EarthMotherStarChild. I'm Astara, and I'm going to talk to you today about being an Earth Empath. And the reason I think this is really important at the moment to understand is that we are really beginning to appreciate our heightened sensitivity here on Earth. There are so many people speaking up for the Earth. I'm very pleased to see the Extinction Rebellion is really taking over on an international global scale. And what struck me when I've been hearing the people who are really giving voice to the needs of Mother Earth, the needs of Gaia, is that we are essentially the voices of her. So we can say, well, it's just because morally, ethically, we believe, that culturally we should do something about this climate emergency and just looking after the planet that we're on. We are guardians of this planet. We could look at it that way, which I think is very appropriate and reasonable. But also, I'm feeling that as an Earth Empath myself, that the Earth, she has been trying to communicate through her children, through her star children, through her Earth children, communicating her voice. And I don't think this is a mistake, that we are, coming out of the Me Too, the hashtag Me Too movement, where women are actually finding their voice and the divine feminine is being heard. There have been many times in my life where I found that I have been speaking and not being heard. And I often wondered if that was just the frequency of my voice, or whether it was just being female and it wasn't something that people wanted to hear, or just being, speaking up about something that people did not want to address. But I'm beginning to see now that this is about the process of being heard and being able to speak up, having the courage to speak up and express oneself about what is right, and I don't mean right or wrong where we end up in this kind of never-ending debate between things. Maybe I need a different word. This is more about the clarity of the heart and the passion of the heart, and knowing when something is absolutely authentic and true and that it resonates right through you. And when I hear these children and adults, activism all around the world, really speaking up for what they believe is, the right course of action, that we need to take a stance and we need to do something about it. We are past talking, now is the time for actually doing something. I really hear that and I really feel it in my body. So I believe that this course of activism is a voice from Mother Earth, and that many of these star children and indigos, earth angels that are here to do this work are speaking through that frequency, that they are very empathic with what is going on, and that they can see very clearly that change needs to happen. So I might kind of digress and go off on one there. But I was going to talk about what it feels like to be an Earth Empath. I was lucky enough to do a QHHT session recently. If anyone's ever done one of them, it's very interesting. It's the quantum hypnotherapy something healing technique, that's right, and it's the Dolores Cannon work. And you go into hypnosis if you have it done, and you go under for quite a long time, maybe 3 hours, and you're recorded about what you're saying. And one of the planetary lifetimes that came up for me was where I was a creature on another planet that was a guardian of that area of the planet. And part of my work would be to really keep harmony within the spaces in that planet. And I found that very fascinating. I was a deeply sensitive being. In the hypnosis, I could feel it, I could understand it, and what it seemed to do was help me to understand what I do in this lifetime on Earth as Natasha, as Astara, because that's part of this process of understanding about what it is to be an empath, what it is to be empathic. And it's a deep feeling of sensitivity to our environment, and also this nature about harmony. So being an earth empath is fascinating because it's taken me quite a long time to work out what I've actually been doing. Luckily, I have family members who also do this sort of work, so I can kind of understand where we come from. It's obviously part of our lineage. And a lot of the time I move from area to area, and I'm always one of these people that move around a lot. And what I discover is that I'm actually doing some sort of similar work to what I was doing in that planetary lifetime, is that I am feeling the elemental makeup of that space. I'm feeling the harmony which is occurring within that space wherever I am. So if I go walk in nature, I go to, through an oak forest quite a lot, and I can feel the harmony there. It's not always harmonious, I have to say, because there's a lot of disruption within our landscape, within the actual earth going on that needs to clear. And there is clearing, so sometimes it hasn't always been harmonious. But it's almost through the acknowledgement that our feelings are aware of so much more than we could imagine. And I often wonder, well, am I just a lot more sensitive than everyone else, or do I have just a different awareness? And I really believe that everyone can be this sensitive, and is in their own way. But perhaps my way of being sensitive could be unique to my awareness, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who have their own experiences, which I'd love to hear about and to share. So this deep feeling is all about sort of resonance as well. Because when I think about when we come to Earth, particularly as starseeds, we are often collecting experiences. We're trying to understand the whole experience of being in a human body, the whole experience of being spirit in physical matter, being consciousness and part of consciousness here in the physical world. It's I think this is the empathic journey, and I do believe that it is one of the reasons we come, and also the people being incarnated at this time is about keeping the balance, helping to clear the old grid, clear the old pockets that have kept us all trapped, and to create more harmony within ourselves and within the environment. And this also comes about with acknowledging that we are part of the environment. We are not separate from it. It's the way humans have worked is they've sort of tried to dominate the natural world and somehow separate from it, and it really has not served us in any way. I mean, there are some things that are good, where we've, obviously created homes for ourselves that keep us warm, but we can always do that in harmony with the environment and the earth. There is no need to dominate dominate as top of the food chain, or we're not even that, are we? But that's essentially what we've done. And I believe that comes from a very old paradigm, an old way of thinking, in the old matrix, which is a lot to do with the mind control and the mind programming that has come from other species and other awarenesses that have not always been working for the light. So this is just part of our evolutionary consciousness. If you find that you are an earth empath, sometimes it can be very fascinating to go to different locations and sit and communicate and just feel. I value sentience in people. I find it difficult when people are cut off from their feeling. And so I feel like it's having one leg removed. They're only really having a partial experience of what it is to be here and to be alive. But saying that, they all have their own experience, and it's not for me to judge. However, if you are very empathic and particularly an earth empath, you can go to different areas and begin to feel and write poetry or paint, or just begin to express or share the feelings in that space. What it is like to experience the different pockets of land, the way the earth is speaking through us and to us, and what we're being guided to do, how we're being guided to step up and to be her guardians, to be her wardens, to be her, and I don't mean wardens as in like prisoners. I mean it like to look after her areas, to become more aware of what we're doing. And this could definitely instigate even a natural connection, a reconnection to the natural world, and your natural connection to your own spiritual self, your own empathic nature. And I often look at, the UK, United Kingdom, like people love their gardens here. They're really obsessed with their little patches of land. And I kind of wonder if that is also about this, like how we are all in some ways guardians of this planet and guardians of different areas. And we may not have much, which is individually ours, but we can always look after it. And I really believe that Mother Earth is saying, well, actually, the public spaces need looking after as well. And we need to join together and really begin to say what we want. So if that's, please don't use pesticides or chemicals in our public spaces. Please don't use it to grow our food. Please don't, create more disruption or destruction than we need to only take what we need and to always give back. And on that note, I want to leave this podcast with just promoting Ecosia, which if you haven't found it, please change to it. I always use Google as a search engine, but when I discovered Ecosia, which you can download or add as an add-on to your Google, Ecosia, for every search that you make, they plant trees and they do some amazing projects which they update you on. And that is going on. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. Ecosia is ECOSIA. Put it into Google, ironically, and have a look. And then you can download it onto any device you're using. I've got it on all my devices, on my mobile, laptop and iPad and everything. So it's really great because this is really, we need to just begin to be aware that everything we're doing has an effect. We are part of the environment. And feeling it through our body and being able to express what the earth needs is part of our journey now as we move into the fifth dimension and the new earth. So my name's Astara, and if you want to link up, go to www.EarthMotherStarChild.co.uk. It's on Facebook, it's on Twitter. Please link up. I'd love to hear from you. And it's specially designed for indigos, starseeds, earth angels, light workers. I also work a lot with elementals and talking to the realms and the earth. So I'd love to get in contact with anyone who enjoys that. And that's all for today. May love always flow through you. Bye.